It's like slowly loading. Done redirecting.
Okay.
There you go. Okay. Awesome. Okay, there you go.
Did everybody hear that, or was it just me?
I think that was from my computer. So
I would just Thank you, Mr. Jones. Should I start? I think I should. Nana bonjour. Wiishkoonseh Miigizi'enh Indigenous. Memegwensi second nenda soka naka minwa memegwensi second do dem. Ne a shignigaming. Ni donjiba minwa tikranto ni donjiba. Minwa mishi makanaka Anishinaabe aki ni donjiba. I carry two names. Well, the name that's on my birth certificate is now Johnston, but creation and my first family, the creation knows me by my spirit name, and that is Wiishkoonseh Miigizi'enh, or Whistling Eagle. I go by Miigizi'enh for short, which is the bald eagle or the white-headed eagle. And I'm from, was born on the Chippewas and Nawash First Nations. We call it Nawash, or the point of land surrounded by water on three sides, or the beautiful place. And that is probably about 4 hours north of Toronto. And I grew up there until I was about 13 or 14. And then I moved down to Toronto kind of to just to take my education a little bit more seriously. I wasn't doing too well on the reserve. And then I kind of been situated in Toronto ever since. I kind of, sometimes I'll go back and forth, back up to my reserve just to help out from time to time. But I'm mostly in Toronto. My clan, I'm with the Little People. The Little People are my ancestors, the Miigizi'enh. And I guess like my role in the community, it's I guess as I'm getting older, I'm being called out more as a storyteller, which is, very humbling. I'm still, I've been learning the stories and the traditions since I was a young kid, and to this day, I still get nervous when I'm asked to speak and when I'm asked to share. But somebody told me when I was in ceremony, they told me, you know what? The only reason why you care so much or the only reason why you're nervous is because you actually care so much. So I try to use that, in a good way and kind of, and let it help me. I'm also, I guess, an artist. I've been painting and drawing my entire life. It's funny because sometimes people will ask me, they're like, Miigizi'enh or Nyle, when did you become an artist? Or when did you know that you were an artist? And I can't really tell you that because some of my earliest memories was back in my community and in my grandma's basement, just drawing. I was be drawing Ninja Turtles sometimes, but also I'd be drawing traditional Ojibwe or Anishinaabe photography that I was seeing everywhere. And it's something that I've always done. I remember going home, back up to my community, back up to my mom's house, and we were helping clean up a little bit. And she kept this old art folder. It was an old art folder of mine that I don't know how old I was. I was really young. I must have been between the ages of 7 and 11, I guess, or 7 and 10. And I was looking through, she kept a lot of my drawings and my paintings from when I was a kid. And I was looking through them, and it was really cute because then I had my Ninja Turtles, so I was drawing like Michelangelo and Donatello and all of them. But then I was flipping through it more, and then I started finding all the photography work that I was drawing. I was doing images. Like one that I found that really stuck out to me was an image of a thunderbird, and it was this pictograph thunderbird that I've been drawing since I was a little kid. And to this day, I actually still honor that Benasiak, those thunder beings and those thunderbirds, and by painting them, as well as by honoring them within my good mind and my heart. Trying, I was blessed as well. I have an 8-year-old daughter, and her name is Blue Thunderbird, and my mom is also a Thunderbird as well. So when I look back on it, I just look at how art and how these stories and tradition, but like art and this imagery has always been there for me. It's always been there to protect me as well as give me inspiration and hope. And to this day, this imagery, when I draw it or when I paint it, it really helps me in terms of my well-being. It helps me within my physical, within my mental, emotional, and within my spirit. I find that when I don't paint or when I don't draw, I'm not taking care of me. I'm not taking care of I'm not just talking about Nyle. I'm not taking care of Miigizi'enh or Wiishkoonseh Miigizi'enh. I'm not taking care of my spirit. And it's really, it's crazy how sometimes it's so easy to put down the things that can help you most. I guess another title I carry is a Chippewas helper. I've been connected to the ceremony community my whole life. I've been going to lodge since I was a kid, helping out as a firekeeper in many different roles. I also did, I apprenticed with 4 different traditional healers. I'm still learning. I like to call myself first and foremost a helper, a Shkabe. And I just want to let everybody know that even I go through cycles, and there'll be times when I don't pick up the medicine or my bundle or my drum or my shishi gun or my shaker. Like, I don't go to it when I need it most. It's almost like I get into this spiral of like, oh, I'm not feeling good, therefore I shouldn't hold my bundle, or I'm not thinking that well. Therefore, I don't know if I should paint, or I don't know if I should draw. And I guess it was the beginning of May of this year. And if you notice, I didn't paint, or I didn't really draw all winter. It was a tough winter, for different reasons. And it was around May again when I just was like, what am I doing? I got stuck in that spiral in my head. It was just going around and around. And I guess it was self-doubt. A lot of, I guess, fear, anxiety. But it was as soon as I went back to drawing, went back to my art, started picking up my bundle again, I started feeling good, and I started feeling like I was honoring my path, my spirit, and also my gift. I'm going to share a little bit more about what I mean by that gift. I want to acknowledge everybody here too, and just say Chimigwech, thank you for everybody that's here. And I wanted to acknowledge every single one of you and all the beautiful stories and languages and all of your lineage and ancestors and all of the teachers. And I would just, I want to say Miigwech to all of them and to all of you. It's kind of a crazy time. It's been a crazy time. That's all I can really say about it. It's crazy. I'm not going to get too much into it because I can just probably go talk about this stuff for like hours and hours and hours. But it's quite the time to be alive. But it also something that's helped me get through it, and persevere and just keep going and keep holding on to hope, and want to be that helper and that good father and that good uncle and that good cousin and that good that shkabe is looking to the stories and to the tradition, and looking at the art and what the old people used to say, and realizing that these are, and I'm going to address the pandemic because there's a couple things going on in the world right now, but I'm going to specifically talk about this pandemic that we now know of as COVID. These great sicknesses, and these great sicknesses have been occurring in the world for many generations. Our stories, we have stories that talk about these great sicknesses that come in these cycles. And and not only did we have stories and was it acknowledged by the ancestors, but we had our medicines, and we had ways that we would deal with these sicknesses that would come through the community. I'm talking about, I guess, pre-contact as well. Even my teachers, and I can't really share everything, but they were telling me about these sicknesses, and that there was this big sickness coming, and that the Anishinaabe, we needed to prepare for it, and that's exactly what I did. And one of those medicines that we prepared before before the plague was a medicine that was just sitting on my bundle, and I wasn't wearing it, and I wasn't using it, I wasn't acknowledging it. And now when I finally took up my bundle again to feast it and to honor it properly, and to really allow it to do its work, I noticed that medicine there, and I put it in a small pouch, and I carry it with me everywhere that I go. And it that just helped me so much. It helped my physical, it helped my mental, my emotional, and really helped my spiritual. My name, I have to honor my name. That's who I am. That's my spirit. My name, Wiishkoonseh Miigizi'enh, that whistling eagle. And then I have to start looking at, okay, what does that name to creation? What does that mean? What does that really mean? What am I, just a loud eagle? And no, that white-headed eagle, that bald eagle, Miigizi'enh, carries one of those beautiful teachings, one of those 7 teachings, and that's the teaching of love. And the way that I was taught, and I don't speak for all Ojibwe out there, I want to put out my disclaimer, is I don't speak for all Ojibwe, I don't speak for all Anishinaabe, I don't speak for all Chippewa, I don't speak for all Odawa, Potawatomi. I can only speak to the teachings and the stories that have been shared to me from my teachers through my good mind to my heart, and how I've interpreted them. And I want to acknowledge some of those teachers as well. Some of those teachers being, my great grandmother, Verna Johnston, Verna Najuan, as well as Basil Johnston. And there's 4 more that I have to acknowledge as well. That's traditional healer Colin Mosso, traditional healer Geraldine Standup, traditional healer James Carpenter, and traditional healer Pete Shane. But the way I was taught was that Miigizi'enh, that white-headed eagle, carries that grandfather teaching or grandmother teaching of love. And the way that I was taught in ceremony as well is I always have to start with that teaching. We have the 7 teachings, but we start with love. It has to lead the way in everything. And I have to remember that, and I have to remember that if I'm the representation, or I'm connected to that eagle, and that eagle is connected to that teaching of love, then I have to make sure that what I'm doing, or what I'm sharing, or what I'm painting, or how I'm acting, or how I'm walking on creation embodies some form of love, or of gentleness, of kindness. And that whistle, am I going to be using that whistle just to get attention for myself, or to make myself look bigger than everybody else? Or do I use that whistle using love and kindness and using truth to speak, to share, to share those stories that were taught to me, to share those teachings that I've been so privileged to receive? Like I know, especially for a lot of Indigenous people growing up in bigger urban centers, like sometimes it can be hard to get connected to your culture, or to a lodge, or to a community. So I really, I always say that I'm really privileged to be able to have those amazing teachers just kind of pop into my life when I needed them most. And to me, that's a huge privilege, and I don't take it lightly. I try to honor that in a good way every single day. But also when I start thinking about my art and I guess my culture and how that's helped me and how to view this pandemic. It's recognizing that I'm a part of this bigger system, of this bigger family, of this bigger world and universe that's going on around us, that sometimes we get stuck into our bubble. If you look at when the last huge flu around the world, it's almost 100 years ago. It's almost been 100 years. It's a 100-year cycle. That when you look back in history, that's about right. And I don't mean to sound like oh, are putting it off, but it just shows me that, you know what, we're part of this big beautiful family, this big beautiful cycle of creation. When I talk about creation, when I talk about, I guess, my first family, the word that I carry for that is Diamukanak, that first family. And my first family isn't just my mother or my father or my brother or my sister. That first family to me is creation. It's the trees, it's the rock, it's the minerals, it's the wind, it's the insects, it's the birds, it's the animals, it's the cosmos in deep space, everything. That is my first family. We are connected to that first family. And that's where I get my hope from, is looking at the cycle, being like, wow, you know what? We really are not at the top of the pyramid here. We can put all these systems into place. And humans, the two-legged nation, the two-legged beings, us, we like to do that. We like to, I guess it comes from a place of ego, but we like to think that I'm not just saying everybody, but I'm talking about, I guess, the grander population. We like to think that we're in control of everything, that we set up these systems that can predict things, that we have routines and these schedules, that these, I guess, human-made schedules and routines and ways of commerce and the way that the world functions. And something like this world event is one of these little tiny sicknesses can throw all of that off. And it's humbling to me. It just shows me the power of creation. The power of creation, the power of that first mother, Nankumikisinikwe, under the earth rock woman, and how she can bring balance and how the world can bring balance. But also how this cycle is continuing. And the cycle might happen again. It won't be in my lifetime, it'll be in my grandchildren's lifetime. And it doesn't sound pessimistic to me. I find hope within that. It's like, wow, we are a part of this big, beautiful family and of nature and of creation. We're not immune to it. We're a part of it. We're not above it. We're not below it. We're right there with it. And there's been stories and teachings of these big sicknesses. And even if you look at the way our communities used to form, when there was inklings of these sicknesses coming, I guess right today we call it social distancing, but the community would break down and would go into smaller family camps, and it was almost like a form of social distancing or self-isolation. Every winter they would go into smaller camps as well, because that was the flu season. That was when these sicknesses came. And within these smaller camps, within these families, they had the medicines. They practiced. They would smudge the air. They would clean themselves. They would have clean water. They were taking care of one another, but they were also taking care of not only the physical, but they're also taking care of the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual. So the families wouldn't spiral into the sickness. And I love hearing about all the social distancing and I guess all of these. You got to stay in your small family unit. You can only, I know it's opening up now, but it was just like, wow, it feels like I'm living like 300 years ago. and I'm in my small little family camp, and there's a sickness going around, and we just gotta hold on to hope, take care of one another, and know that the cycle will continue, and that the sickness will go away, and really hold on to that, because I guess my children haven't gone to daycare since March, and it's just so amazing watching them just grow before my very eyes. They've been home with us every single day. Right now, actually, they're upstairs. I don't hear Paw Patrol, so I don't know what they're doing right now. But really taking the time, and I know that's a privilege on its own because I have people around me, but really taking the time to connect with them, to let them be my teachers again, and really let them take care of me as well. Not that other way around of thinking, okay, I got to take care of them. It's those little ones are always teaching us so much, and they've taught me a lot within this past few months of us all being together. And I guess people might ask me, what do you mean those kids always teach us so much? That's in our stories too. That's in our teachings. You go back to the story of how those 7 teachings came to the Anishinaabe, depending on the storyteller. And this is a huge story, and I can't really get into it, but it was a little boy. And even the story of the Matotskan, or that sweat lodge, how that Matotskan came to the Anishinaabe. It was a young community member. Those young ones, they're so powerful, and they bring so much medicine and so much kindness and beauty to the world and to us. So it's been really humbling to spend all that time with them and really relearn, I guess, not only relearn, but learn about myself again, and also my role. My clan is those little ones, the little people, and those little people care for those children. So I need to honor not only Miigizi'enh with that love and that whistle, and with painting and storytelling, but I gotta honor my clan, the Miigizi'enh, and everything that they do for creation, for the plant nation, for the animal nation, but also for those children. And it's quite the experience, but I'm holding on to hope. I have to. I've spent a lot of time on the other spectrum when I was growing up, and it didn't serve me any purpose. And I don't really want to go back to that. I wanna keep pushing forward, keep painting, using my art, keep raising my children to be confident and proud of who they are and their ancestry and their language, and proud that they're Anishinaabe. Well, they're Ojibwe, but Anishinaabe, and proud of their language. It's amazing, A7G, with the language classes. I'm seeing that. It's amazing because I'm doing a language class every night with these little ones. We're reading Anishinaabe books, and we're learning words together, and I'm relearning phrases and words, and we're communicating now in more Anishinaabe. I'm just like, wow, these little ones, they're really always teaching me. And it's such a huge source of inspiration for me. Not only the little ones, but creation, the first family. So I look at what's going on with the pandemic in the world as like, wow, okay, we're a part of this big, beautiful system and family, and we've gotten through this before. People have gotten through this before, and we're gonna get through it again. And then 200 years from now, 500 years from now, 600 years from now, we're going to talk. This pandemic will be in our stories. We're going to be talking about this one, and and that's what I hold on to. And that's a little bit about, I guess, what my art does what it does for me. Because I got to remember too, first and foremost, I don't mean to sound selfish, but I need to paint for myself, for my well-being. And I got to use my art as medicine, as I treat my paintings and my art like I treat my bundle, like I treat my sacred items, because like I treat the wingush, the sweetgrass, because just like the smudge or the sweetgrass, how it's been helping me my whole life overcome fear and anxiety and depression, so has my art. So has this. That's helped me. Art is such a beautiful medicine, and the ability to create that art is such a wonderful gift. And Basil taught me a long time ago. I was really young. He would tell me, he's like, now, the worst thing that we can do as Anishinaabe people is live a life wasting our gift. I didn't quite get it at the time. I've come to understand it more. I'm still learning to understand it. Well, how am I honoring that gift? What is a gift? Some of you might be asking, well, what is this? What does Miigizi'enh mean, this gift? And to kind of break that down a little bit, I'm going to share a story. And this story was passed to me from Basil. And the story is called The Gift of the Stars. I always say, a long time ago, a long time ago, I would look outside and I wouldn't see the city around me. I would see nature. I would see trees. I would see rivers and meadows. There was a community. And within this community, there was a wigwam. And in this wigwam, there was a Nokomis. And Nokomis' grandmother had a grandchild, had a grandson. His name was, I was going to say Nodin. His name was Southwind. Southwind was about 6 years old. And every night, when the weather was good, Southwind and Nokomis would walk just outside of the community to the top of this big hill. Nokomis and Southwind at the top of this hill would look up and look at the stars. He was looking, little 6-year-old, was trying to figure out what the heck he's looking at. Hey, Nokomis. Yes, my boy. What are those? My boy. Those are stars. Nokomis. What are stars? You see, every single one of those lights is a little baby. She just smiles. Nokomis, I don't understand. It's okay, my boy. Time went, and they're still walking up to the top of that hill to look at the stars. Nokomis, those babies, those are stars. I don't really understand. Nokomis just says, just look. Southwind's looking. Then all of a sudden he sees something and gets his heart pounding. He notices that one of those little stars, those little babies, fell from the sky. Nokomis, Nokomis, we got to do something. A baby just fell from the sky. It's going to get hurt. Nokomis just smiles. No, my boy, you see, tonight, somebody's going to receive this very special gift of this baby. A woman. She's going to receive that very sacred gift. And it's going to bring love and happiness to her, and to her family, and to her community. Nokomis? Yes, my boy. Am I going to get a baby? Kawin, Southland. No. Only the woman will receive that gift of that baby. You're going to receive a gift. It's going to be very special to you. Now Southland's getting pretty excited. Every night now, he's running up to the top of that hill. He's looking and he's looking. You would always be seeing stars falling. They were always so far away. They weren't for him. The seasons come and the seasons go. Winter came in. And this winter was really tough. It was a very cold winter. We're very spoiled these days. We have things like refrigeration to keep our food and heat. Back then, if the families and community didn't prepare themselves for the oncoming of the winter would get very tough. And this particular winter was very cold. Nokomis got sick. Nokomis got so sick that she couldn't even leave her bedding. Seasons come and seasons go. The ice melted. Southwind was a little older now. Nights were warm. The days and nights were warming up. And he was walking to the top of that hill to look at the stars by himself. Nokomis was too sick. He's looking. Nothing. One of those nights, he was looking up for so long, he decided to go home. He wasn't going to get his gift that night. And we don't know why, but for some reason, something told him to look back. So he just looks. And sure enough, he sees the star drop just on the other side of that hill. His heart starts pounding. He runs up that hill. He's looking on the other side, like, where is it? Where is it? I know it landed just here. Where is it? I don't see it. So he walks down the other side of that hill. And at the bottom of that hill, there was this huge pond. And in this pond were all these beautiful little white flowers bobbing on the water. And he's looking. I know it landed here somewhere. Where is it? Where's my gift? He's looking. Nothing. So he goes to turn around again. All of a sudden he hears this voice shrieking. Take me. I'm your gift. I'm your medicine. And he's kind of stunned. Who's saying that? He looks. And sure enough, this little white flower in the center of the pond was calling to him. Take me. I'm your gift. I'm your medicine. He's really kind of nervous, kind of scared. Decided to walk into that pond. It wasn't very deep, up to about his waist. And he's kind of sitting there eye to eye with that flower. And he goes to pluck that flower. And as soon as he almost touches it, yo, Kawin, what are you doing? You take all of me. all of me. He's kind of startled. Feels underneath the water. There's this big stalk. Like, okay. Takes a breath. Dives down. Starts digging up that root. It was hard. Took him 4 tries. He had to go down. That 4th time he came up, he was carrying this flower, the stalk and this root. He walks out of the pond. He's like, what is this? This is my gift? I don't know what this is. Then he gets to thinking, wait a second. Nos, my dad, he spends a lot of time in the bush and fishing and trapping. He knows the plants. I think he might know what this is. So he walks into his wigwam and he hands his father that flower. And his dad knew what to do. He chopped up that plant and made a tea out of it and started giving that tea to Nokomis to drink. And after 4 days and 4 nights of drinking that tea, on that 5th night, Nokomis and Southwind were walking to the top of that hill again to look at the stars. Nokomis? Yes, my boy. When you were really sick there, you know I was still coming to the top of this hill to look at the stars? It's good, my boy. Nokomis? Yes, my boy. I think I got my gift. Nokomis just smiles. It's good. Nokomis? Yes, my boy. I don't think that gift was for me. I think that gift was for you. Nokomis just smiles. That is the gift of the stars. As I was taught, we are all born with a beautiful gift. Everybody has a gift, and it's special to them. And that gift can come in many forms. I'm able to create art. I love to paint. But if you ask me to write an essay or some literature, I'm not that good. But if you give me this complex idea and you tell me to draw it or paint it, I can do that. I'm horrible with, I guess, Western methodology of mathematics. Absolutely horrible. I'm not good at algebra. I'm not good at all those formulas. But if you ask me to recognize patterns in mathematics within creation, I can draw them, I can paint them, I can tell you about them. We're all born with a very special, beautiful gift. There comes a point in our life when we come to the realization of that gift. And just like that flower called out to Southwind, you have to take it. You have to take all of it, but you have to nurture it. And you have to practice it. But ultimately, you have to share it. You have to share your gift with your family, with your friends, and with your community. That's a little bit about what I'm talking about when I'm talking about a gift. I always hear young people tell me, usually around 13, 14, I'm not good at anything. I'm not good at anything. And I say, give it a couple of years. You are. You're gonna find it. You're gonna realize it. Everybody has a beautiful gift. but you're going to have to show love and respect to that gift. It just takes work. You got to practice it. You got to nurture it. And then you have to share it. A little bit about what I was talking about, those gifts. Basil struck it into my chord, really hammered it into my being. It's like one of the worst things that we can do is live a life not honoring that gift. To let that gift go to waste. It is such a beautiful thing from creation. Then he looked at me. He said, Nyle, it's the duty of all Anishinaabe, all of them, to add to the legacy of our people, not to take away from it. And then asked me, what are you going to do for it? And I think about that all the time. What am I going to do for it? Am I going to take from it? Am I going to pick from that legacy? Or am I going to try to add to it, add to the narrative? Another thing Basil taught me, as he taught many others, it's like one of the worst things that people are doing now is they're disconnecting themselves from their creation stories. They act like the creation story happened way back in the past. It's gone, it's done. When in actuality, the creation story is an ongoing narrative, and we are all active participants within that story. And when I really started to learn about that, it started clicking. It's like, okay, what am I going to add to this story? A couple 100 years from now, we're the ancestors. We will be the ancestors. So what kind of story are they going to tell? It's a little bit, just a little bit about that. Now, usually when I'm doing my storytellings, I can see the crowd and I can ask questions and I can kind of move back and forth and ask people questions. So it's a little different now. Maybe you guys can type it. Does anybody know what flower that was in the story of the Gift of the Stars? No. No. It's the white pond water lily, the kundamo. That's what we call it in our community. And if you ever look at those stars or those flowers at nighttime, when they're in blossom and it's on a clear night, you can see the stars. It's hard to tell where the earth and the cosmos, where each of them begins. It's just all together. It's like looking at the sky when you're looking at that water. You see all of those stars. And those stars to me represent many different things, but one of the main things, especially within my art, those stars represent those babies. They represent those beautiful gifts of creation that have yet to come into this world to experience life as physical life on this earth. My grandma, my great-grandma always taught me, always told me, always taught our family, you nurture butterfly gardens. Make your gardens. Once those butterflies come, those children will watch them and it'll bring joy to them. They'll dance. They'll chase them. They'll be surrounded by beautiful flowers, beautiful medicines to protect them, to feed their soul, their spirit, their mental, their physical. that will give them a place to feel protected and nurtured and safe enough to explore who they are, especially around the ages of like 10 to 15, when our young community members are really figuring out their identity. And they should be able to explore that without fear, and know that they'll always be welcomed back, regardless of who they want to be. They'll always be welcomed back and loved and cared for. That's kind of what I like to say, what me and my partner do, or what I like to do. Keep it simple. Let's plant some butterfly gardens. Let's bring those beautiful medicines back. Let's give a place where these children can test their boundaries. They're supposed to push their boundaries. They're supposed to push our boundaries. It's who they are. They're figuring out the world around them. And that's okay. But they'll know that we're here. And we're going to protect them, and we're going to love them regardless. A little bit, just a little bit. I'm just looking at the time now. I know I went over it a lot of times, so I just want to make sure I give my cousin some time if there's any questions. Or questions. I know I didn't quite talk about the logo, but in actuality, I talked lots about the logo.
True, you did. Miigwech. Yeah, I always feel like I take more away from that story when you tell it. I think that's the third or fourth time I've heard you talk about that gift from the stars. And that's like, yeah, I just remember really listening and like really just being so amazed hearing it when I first did. Do folks have any questions or any feedback? Concern? Okay. Okay. Cool. So we're gonna end the live stream now, and then
Yep.
we'll go into like a checkout.